أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. So we have been studying from chapter Hud, the 11th chapter, and last week we studied verses until 35, and this week we will start from 36. So I'm reading the verse. وأوحي إلى نوح أنه لا يؤمن من قومك إلا من قد آمن فلا تبتئس بما كانوا يفعلون. Let me see. Okay. And the English translation is, and this was revealed unto Noah. Never will any of your people believe except those who have already attained to faith. Be not then distressed by anything that they may do. I'll first read a couple of verses, then come back. This was 36. Chapter 11, verse 36. واصنع الفلك بأعيننا ووحينا ولا تخاطبني في الذين ظلموا إنهم مغرقون. But build under our eyes and according to our revelation the ark that shall save you and those who follow you. And do not appeal to me in behalf of those who are bent on evil doing, for behold, they are destined to be drowned. ويصنع الفلك وكلما مر عليه ملأ من قومه سخروا منه قال إن تسخروا منا فإنا نسخر منكم كما تسخرون. And so Noah set himself to building the ark, and every time the chiefs of his people passed by him, they scoffed at him, they ridiculed him. Thereupon he said, if you are ridiculing us, we in turn can look down on you with ridicule likewise. Verse 39 فسوف تعلمون من يأتيه عذاب يخزيه ويحل عليه عذاب مقيم. But in time you will come to know who it is that in this world shall be visited by suffering, which will cover him with ignominy. Another translation, but soon will you know who it is on whom will descend a penalty that will cover them with shame, on whom will be unleashed a penalty lasting. Let's stop there. Or maybe one more verse, and this is 40. حتى إذا جاء أمرنا وفارت النور قل نحمل فيها من كل زوجين اثنين وأهلك إلا من سبق عليه القول ومن آمن فما آمن معه إلا قليل. And so it went on till when our judgment came to pass, and waters gushed forth in torrents over the face of the earth. We said to Noah, place on board of this ark one pair of each, of either sex, as well as your family, except those on whom our sentence has already been passed, and all who have attained to faith, for only a few shared his faith. So let's stop here, go back to verse 36. So this is, because eventually the flood part is now starting. So up to 36, let's remember what we discussed so far. So first, Noah was given a message. He was speaking to his people saying that I'm a reminder to you. I just give you this message that be God conscious. And also saying that I am worried about a day of suffering if you don't do so. This was the simple, basic message that he gives. So be God conscious, and otherwise there's going to be a day of suffering. But then the elders or the chiefs of this community came up and said that you're just a regular person. We don't see anything extra in you. And the ones that follow you are even the lowest or the low profile people of our society. And then he said, then came response of Noah saying that I don't ask anything from you in return of what I am doing. What else was he saying? Let's quickly remember.
I don't have the treasures of God.
Yeah, I don't have the treasures of God. Yes. So he first said, so he said, what if what I have in my hands is truth? Because his people were not considering his message at all. They were just looking at the positions. So you versus we, you don't have any what's a title within the society, no praiseworthy or what else? Why shall we show any respect to you? You don't have any respectful title or anything as such. And also your followers are just regular people. But he was coming up with the other side of the coin, saying that what if my message is correct? So just to call them to attract their attention to the message. And then he said, I'm not asking for any wealth. My wealth is from my creator, or my payment, let's say, is from my creator. I don't expect anything from you. And I cannot send away the believers that believe to the message that I introduce. And while we were studying this part, we were saying that the believers are not following me because of my charisma, this and that, but they are following the truthfulness of the message. So how am I going to disperse them? Because they are not connected to my persona. Then he said, yes, as you were saying, I don't have the treasures, I don't know the unseen. And then his people said that you talk too much. We were not planning to carry on this conversation that long. And then they challenged, saying that if what you're telling is truth, then bring us this suffering that you were challenging us with. Then Noah said, I cannot bring it. The Creator is going to bring it to you. And once it comes, there is no way that you're going to make him incapable of bringing it. And he even concluded saying, my advice will not benefit you, although I would like to give you good advice. So the Creator is your sustainer. So if he wills, you're going to get good advice. And we talked about this part, what it means that God is willing me to take good advice. Why is my taking good advice based on that? So shall I take it as I'm not getting good advice because God is not willing me to take good advice? So what shall I do then? Shall I take it as such? Or reading this verse as if it is saying, because it was referring to the Creator as Rabbakum, Huwa Rabbukum, wa ilayhi turja'un. So He is your sustainer, He is your Lord. Rob in here is having the connotation of mercy. So He is your Lord, and to Him is your return. Again, this verse is a reminder, a guidance from the messenger to remind them that although I'm coming up with a message to you, it's not me who is going to turn your hearts. I do not have this capacity, this power to guide you anywhere. You have a sustainer to whom you are constantly returning if you pay attention to it. Every moment of me coming from an eternal source, because I do not own anything that is being seen on me, and just goes away again. Where does this go to? He says, return it back to the Creator. Last week we were talking about what it means to return back to the Creator. So with this verse, actually, Noah is reminding them of where they're coming from, where they're going to, and where the guidance is again going to come from. He says, it's not from me to give you any guidance. If you would like to take guidance, guidance is not in my hands. I do not create it. Then there was a verse which was أَمْ يَقُولُونَ افْتَرَاهُ. So then the conversation was going back to the very beginning of the chapter, because the messenger Muhammad was being challenged at the time also in terms of you are just making up Quran or making up stories in Quran. And this verse in between refers to this main theme of the chapter. It says, do they say he has forged it, he has invented this, the speech? Say, if I had forged it, on me were my sin, and I am free of the sins of which you are guilty. We didn't discuss too much about this verse because it's going to take us a little bit off topic. But just to point to one thing about this verse, how is it relatable to me here and now? Still, this is a legitimate question for me today. Is this text a forgery of a man, or is it truly speech of God? Yes, I know, looking at the existence, that there must exist a speech of God. But then there's this book being put in front of me, and with the claim that I am speech of God. Quran claims to be speech of God. But I see it coming in the hand of a man within a certain historical background. So I can ask the question, is this truly the speech that I am expecting to receive, or is it just made up by some charlatan? This verse is addressing me today as well. One aspect of it, because throughout the chapter, this theme is there. Do they say that this is made up? And so overall, this chapter is addressing this claim. So we can take a lesson about this from there, although we are only studying part of the chapter, which is the story of Noah. So this is not our main discussion here. But if we were to quickly refer to this topic, then an argument. So, Alhamdulillah. So, Creator is coming up with an argument saying that if they say, I had forged it, if I made it up, then on me were my sin. I am free of the sins of which you are guilty. أم يقولون افتراه قل إن افتريته فعلي إجرامي وأنا بريء مما تجرمون. أم يقولون افتراه قل إن افتريته فعلي إجرامي وأنا بريء مما تجرمون. So translation is, today say you invented this. Say, O prophet, if I have invented it, upon me be the sin, but far be it for me to commit the sin of which you are guilty.
What's the sin that they are guilty of?
So, going with the context, historical context, since we are starting from there, let's start from there. So, they are guilty of denying the Creator.
Right. They're not convinced, I guess. Or are they saying that it's just because the lowly people follow me?
So, in the historical context of the messenger himself, is very similar to the story itself here. So the chiefs of Mecca was against him, and they were offering him again wealth and everything, and saying that just stop delivering this message and don't do that. Just disperse the people around you. We are going to make you a king. So, but don't continue this because you are taking our authority away from us. Uh, and then they started later on accusing him of making up this verses, this speech. It's not the speech of God, you're making it up. So in that context, which also applies to the case of Noah, so when he says, if I am making it up, it's let it be my sin if it's truly made up. But I'm not committing the sin that you're committing. So in this sense, I guess it can be, first of all, denying God. I don't know if it makes sense to take it as such. Another one is denying is so because not being convinced is not denial.
Yeah.
Those people are aware of something because in my inner conscience, if my inner conscience is aware of something, but for whatever reason I'm just covering it up and behaving in a different way, I know I am guilty in this sense. So a simple example for that is if I have let's say I have phone and you are in need of some phone call, you come and ask me, uh, can you give me your phone? Do you have phone? But I know that I have phone, but I don't want to give it to you. So I say, I don't have a phone. So I am covering up something that I already know of. So in this case, I am truly a denier. I cover it up. But somehow I put it into my pocket and I forgot about it totally. You come and you ask me, can you give me your phone? And I say, I don't have a phone. Then you just point to, here it is. Oh, yeah, here it is. Then take it. So in this case, I'm not really, it's not a sin. It's not a conscious act that I am covering up something that I know. I don't know really. So in this case, messenger is saying to them that they do some sin, and he says, I'm not doing what you're doing. So in this case, it must be that they're aware of what they are doing. And this is generally the case. So my inner conscience is aware of what I am covering up. And when I come up with this challenge to the messenger, saying that, are you making this up? Now I'm taking it to my context. When I say, is this Quran made up? So the response of Quran to this is, I'm not doing what you are doing as a sin.
But sometimes, let's say you're not trying to cover something, but the way we confirm the Quran is by reading the verses and then looking at the universe to confirm, right? And looking at our emotions, how we live, all these things. So weighing it on a scale, this type of scale. And sometimes you take a verse and you try to weigh it, and you really truly think, are you invented? Because it doesn't seem to fit or it doesn't seem to hold weight. Like, I think there's also a way where you're not, maybe that's not what the chiefs here are saying, but there's also the fact that you could be questioning whether it's invented or not, just because you don't understand it.
Mhm.
It's not solving your problems, or it's not, you can't confirm at that time.
Mhm. So, when messenger talks to me in this way, or I'm having, let's say, when such a question comes to me, Quran responds to me using this verse, saying that if this is made up, let my sin be mine. I am not doing the sin that you are doing. So, is it now flipping the mirror to myself, saying that when I say if it is made up or not, in what sense am I making this question? Am I asking this question as a accusation, or am I trying to find an answer to some question?
So if you were being sincere, then he would say that let the sin be mine. Then you'd actually, yeah. Or is it a sin to not be able to confirm it?
So this is at this point not a matter of confirming, but a judgment being passed. Do they say you invented it, right? So it's a judgment. When making such a judgment, what are we saying? Because if I tell you, for example, you have stolen my phone,
And before weighing the evidence, I just say, no, you're lying or something.
Yeah.
Just right away, I say that, and that. Okay.
so yeah, because I'm passing a judgment to you, and you are telling me that if I stole the phone, okay, I stole the phone, but at least I'm not doing what you do.
Where you just instantly try to like sweep it under the rug or something and ignore it.
Because you knowing yourself, flipping a mirror to me, saying that while you are accusing me of stealing your phone, actually you are doing a grave mistake without having, because you know for yourself, you know that you haven't stolen the phone. So what I am doing is a big mistake. Because you're saying at least I'm not lying openly. You are lying openly without any reason that we should be passing this judgment. I'm not doing this mistake, but you are doing this mistake.
Actually, that's how like bringing it like very casual. Maybe it's in casual arguments. When you feel like you're losing, you just say, you know what, it's whatever, and you walk away like the Chiefs. Do whatever you want. Like you don't want to actually sincerely think about what's happening or like change your mind. You're not actually open to changing your mind. So, yeah.
Okay. So this discussion might need further thought, but I guess we need to also go back to the beginning of the chapter for that. So for now, let's continue with 36. Okay. And then we revealed unto Noah, never will any of your people believe except those who have already attained to faith. Then don't be distressed by anything that they may do. So what does this mean then? وأوحي إلى نوح أنه لا يؤمن من قومك إلا من قد آمن فلا تبتئس بما كانوا يفعلون. So let's read this as our story. And my Creator, and in this story, let's take every faculty of me, every part of me as a human, as if I am living in this city, me, myself, with all my faculties, is a society, with my senses. And then some of my parts, some aspects of me is aware of its maker, its sustainer. But there are some other aspects of me which are unaware. And here there's this message comes, let's say, when it comes to having a mercy relationship, I might be aware of my maker. Or when it comes to sustenance, I might be aware of its source. I might be thankful. But there might be other aspects of me. I might be a very proud person. And it might be that I'm very obstinate when it comes to my pride. I'm not able to resolve this issue. Because it happens if I check myself. And some people are quote unquote brave, and it might be actually a good thing to be open in this sense. And I heard such people saying that, yes, I don't deny God, I believe in God, but the relationship between me and him is, they say, so yeah, I cannot deny a superpower, but the superpower gives me like some hardship, and I live with it. So for example, in this case, there are some things in such a mindset, which is all of us, by the way. But since this is a very black and white example, I'm using this one. There are some aspects which are convinced or that there must exist something beyond this existence, who gives existence to me or this universe. But still, for the rest of it, there is an I versus him, for example. This I doesn't say that the very itself, the I itself, is not being given existence, as if it's firm. It has a person. It is something by itself. So there's I versus him. So this is not convinced. This part is not convinced yet. In my personal life, there are such things. I need to be careful to see, because I generally take it for granted and I don't see it as a problem. But if I just dig deep enough to any of my problems, I will realize that there is something in my life which I didn't, which is not convinced about its source. And this, what's going on in here is, I think, along these lines. Because the message comes and speaks to these other aspects of me, like the chiefs. The messenger Noah talked to them, but they insisted, saying that, okay, just you talk too much. Bring us this suffering that you are threatening us with. It might be that I am too much into, let's say, titles, my career, let's say. But somebody comes and keeps reminding me of death and says that if you are, and this is also in me, not somebody external. In me, there is another part which says, okay, like you are living as if once you get this title, you are going to be happy, you are going to get satisfied. But look at what all the previous titles, how much do they give satisfaction to you? They are all gone. This other one is not going to make it any better. But this other part of me says that no, this one, this title of being, let's say, professor, it's going to make me happy. Or getting this Nobel Prize is going to make me happy. The other side says, no, death is always there. Even if this pleasure comes, the death of pleasure will be there. Then these two sides of me clashes. And it comes to a point, my, let's say, proud part says, okay, bring me this death of this joy, which is suffering, that's going to annihilate my joy. I want to see it then. It's not saying that, okay, whatever. Because sometimes I might be out of my laziness say that, okay, whatever. But it's laziness. This is not really surrendering. Truly arriving to the conclusion of, yes, there is getting Nobel Prize, the joy in and of itself for this temporary life shouldn't be the point, because it's going to pass away anyway. So I shouldn't be seeking for any satisfaction in there. I mean, there must be another sort of joy in there, but this is not the topic of discussion right now. I mean, there is an eternal aspect of this joy of getting whatever Nobel Prize. But if one side of me which says that no, I will get this success and I'm going to be satiated by this success, or I'm going to feel good if you just nod your head whenever I say something. And this is always there. I want people's appreciation of what I am saying, for instance, as if I'm going to get satisfied with it. This side of me is not, didn't become a believer, let me put it this way, in the context of this story. So, in the course of the story, those people are so stubborn. That aspect might be so stubborn as well. Now the revelation comes and says that other than those who had already believed so far, they are not going to believe. And this is being spoken to the messenger. What might this mean? What do you think? What do you think, Zeynep?
She's talking a lot.
She's talking too much.
It's very hard because it says no one will believe from your people except those who have already believed. I'm trying to understand how you're saying it, but
do you feel like this at some point? Let's say you are trying to, or there is something in you which doesn't understand from quote unquote good language, or which is not really coming into terms by speech, by reminders, like good human speech reminders.
which needs a beating.
Which sort of needs a beating.
Yes, I have many such qualities.
So, as if this chapter's that part, I mean, the flood is not only, what is it? Just some punishment. You don't do it, okay, now go to hell. I mean, I'm done with you. I'm going to annihilate you. The flood is also might be a reminder. Because we are going to come, what is flood? And I do have floods in my life.
Is he saying don't be distressed by the flood that will now wipe them out? Like, is this like a pre-flood comment?
Yes, the flood hasn't
Like the ones that have already believed have believed, and the rest now need to see the flood.
So, or shall it be like, I am very much concerned about my other side, like this stubborn side, which is resisting towards belief. My side, which doesn't want to give up its false claims of ownership. So, as if in here, Creator speaking to me, saying that your other side, yeah, you're very much troubled with it, but keep the believing side of you, and I'm going to send another way to teach your bad side, let's call it this way. Another training is underway. And this is what Messenger was warning since the very beginning. Like, get the message in the good way. Look, I'm going to speak to you, and it's very simple. Don't be God conscious. Don't ascribe partners to him. But if you don't take it from this language, this way of communication, then the Creator is going to talk to you in a different language, but for the same purpose again, to give you a training. So a flood is going to come. So, and in practice, this is, so for instance, sometimes Islam is inflicting some sort of flood forcibly on us, such as fasting. Like throughout the day, I am not supposed to eat something. And I can voluntarily enter into this sort of experience because there is something in me which doesn't want to admit that he is the owner. The Creator is the owner, or at least I'm not the owner of anything in this body. I might forget it. This is another part of it. Maybe it's out of my ignorance. I forget it. So the Creator says, look, I want you to not eat for a month. It might also happen, and the Quran also talks about such things, but the Creator doesn't send rain, and drought happens for a year, and people cannot find food. We call this as a punishment, right? But during Ramadan, the same Creator asking me not to eat. So as if I am simulating a drought on myself throughout the day. So it looks like this is another way of training. Because there is something in me, or let's say we can have discussions for hours and hours about human not having the self-control, this or that, but still when Ramadan comes, we cannot say that, okay, we had enough of discussion, we are sure about this, now let's enjoy the food during this month. The Creator says, no matter what you have discussed for the rest of the year, I want you to do fasting. So it looks like there is something in human which needs a different language.
No matter what, you have to work as well. That's a different flood.
No matter what?
You have to work or do something.
Yeah. So there will be this, and this is a very good description of human, actually. This is who I am. So I'm not only consisting of my intellect. So no matter how much I mentally make exercise, my muscles do not improve. And I can theoretically talk about human muscular system and what sort of exercise is going to make muscle, but it doesn't improve my muscles at all. So there are aspects in me which understand from a certain language and others which understand from another sort of language. And I think this one is, at least in my personality, I find that sometimes I am truly being in need of some sort of a flood. Sickness might be a flood. And when it comes, as much as I am conscious, I am saying that, oh, thank you, my Creator. This sickness truly cleansed me. There was something in me, a dirtiness in me, dirtiness meaning I was thinking that I am so strong, I am so healthy, health belongs to me, for example. Sickness comes and cleans this false image.
Can I play devil's advocate for a second?
Go ahead.
Is it such a bad thing that you think you're clean and you're so healthy? And you're so strong. I don't know. Is it such a bad thing? Like, do you really need to feel so impotent and needy and worthless and miserable? Playing devil's advocate, of course.
Okay. So last time we were sort of talking about this when we said, if I distribute money to you, not out of my pocket, but pretending as if it's out of my pocket. But actually, I am the ledger in a bank. And I am feeling very wealthy since I am the ledger of a large bank. But not only I am feeling wealthy, I am also showing off as I am wealthy, just distributing money so that people appreciate me, like me, love me, because I just give them money. So is it something good or bad?
Okay, it's bad because it's not yours.
Mhm.
But when she grows up, for example, you would want to give her wealth that she can use and be wealthy and happy.
Mhm.
So if you were created, then yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to tell Zainab every day, that's my wealth. You realize that when you use it, actually, like she swipes her credit card and it doesn't go through. It's like, no, I took it away just so you realize it's my wealth. Like just constantly making sure that she remembers. I know I realize I'm thinking intentionally in a very opposite way, but it also seems that when God has created something, why can't you just let them be?
But what does that mean again?
Because I guess the premise, or like, there's like this underlying assumption that feeling needy or understanding that you're impotent, it's supposed to make you not supposed to be the good thing for you. So you need to somehow be able to say that is actually the best thing. It's not.
So, or is it? I mean, this is my reality, anyways. I mean, let's take it even for myself. If I pretend to be wealthy, although I am not wealthy, what is it good for? If somebody leaves me in this dream forever, maybe I might enjoy it. I don't know. But this is not the case, anyways.
Well, your goal is not wealth, but happiness, or just some type of just living in an okay state. And you believe that wealth is the way to do that.
I mean, take it anything. Wealth, speaking metaphorically.
Yeah.
Say it. You imagine that you exist by yourself. Just imagine. But it's not your true reality. So just faking yourself as such, is it going to help you aging, or
So are you saying like get out of your dreams and realize what reality is?
eventually you get to realize it anyways? I mean, forget about it. We are here talking about how the things are happening for us. We are not engineering how it should have been, because no matter what I engineer the existence to be, I'm just aging, I'm going to get old and die eventually. And this is my reality. And I'm trying to figure out what makes me happy in this setup, or what is my way out of this trouble here. Death is really just waiting in front of me. There's no way to escape it. So upsetting. So either I need to resolve this issue, or without solving it, I'm just going to go crazy. So I'm trying to make sense of it. So how can I make sense of it? How can I understand it? Because it all boils down to me not making sense of this existence. This is my trouble. What's going on in here? It doesn't make any sense, and this is what troubles me. So if understanding my truth is apparently my only option, but your suggestion is, I mean, the devil's suggestion is not yours.
Sure.
So devil's suggestion is just go with a false image and happily live with it.
Right.
But is it possible? This is the question. Is it possible to live with some false image in this existence until the very last moment you die? It's going to be perfect. Let's assume if it was possible, until the moment you die, you can live in this illusion somehow. Still, I guess it would be a feasible option. At least for 60 years, no trouble. Maybe at last moment, just for a second or split second, maybe you're going to get, but it's just a split second, whatever. But is it possible, really? It's not my reality, right? Because even if I tell how great of a man, whatever, and just make you feel great in this room, you are going to leave this room, I'm going to my home, you are going to your home. And when you are by yourself at home, by yourself alone, nobody is talking about greatness of you anymore. Your inner sense will start saying that, where is your greatness? Am I truly that great? Look at this other man, he's greater than me. Then your jealousy will kick in. I mean, all these things will start kicking in. You will have this internal questioning. No matter how I depict you to you, you will also have your inner self-image. So even if I fooled you, can you fool yourself? Or are you going to find everybody painting the same perfect image for you that you expect?
So is the issue that what I think is good for me is actually bad for me? And I have to, by the message, I have to realize like the things I actually think are bad for me are good for me? Is it because I have this premise of what's good for me, and then because you come to me with a message that goes against this premise of what I think is good, like let's say ownership or wealth and these things, I need to maybe, I guess, truly be sincere in looking to see if what you're saying is actually good for me, even though I think it's bad. Like, I guess you're becoming very arrogant when you think like, with your limited knowledge. If Zainab said, "This is good for me, why don't you guys give it to me?" But you as parents say, "No, that's bad for you." I guess sometimes we can be like Zainab or like another baby, where we don't know, but we just complain or something.
Yeah. And this is my reality. So, and it happens that I am troubled with it. One side of me is troubled with another side of me, and I'm not able to fix it. No matter how much I articulate, explain, let's say I want to buy this beautiful car just because it's cool. It looks cool. My other side comes and says that, look, coolness, it's just going to go old. I mean, it's not going to satiate you once you have it. Look at the toy car in your childhood that you were thinking it was so cool. If my father buys me this car, I'm going to be the happiest child on earth. Have you been the happiest child with this toy car? Why do you think that today, if you buy this car, you're going to be the happiest? My other side tells to my good side, tells to my bad side. Let's put it this way for ease of explanation. But still, my bad side says, no matter what, I want this car.
Yeah.
So, and it happens. And sometimes my bad side challenges my good side, saying that, are you serious? If I buy this car, it's going to bring me badness and pain. Do you really think so? I'm going to buy the car and you will see that I'm going to enjoy it. And this sort of a challenging is happening there. Sometimes I'm aware of it, sometimes I'm not.
Someone make a comment?
No. So in this verse, this is what I'm understanding. Creator says, Creator reveals to me sometimes, saying that, okay, I'm not going to get this lesson. Like this bad side of me is not going to get the lesson in terms of articulation or explaining it. And so this is what I understand from the second part of the verse. فَلَا تَبْتَئِسْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. So don't be distressed anything that they may do. But this part is, I am worried about my bedside, whatever it is. I don't know how to understand this part of it if I apply it in my personal
Maybe it means in terms of guidance, or like, how am I going to fix this? And he's saying, I will fix it for you, or I will guide you, or I will give that side of you a training that will help you. You are not alone.
As if the Creator says, I will take care of it. Don't worry. So there is another way that I can provide you teaching.
Or I will send help, because it's not just the messenger himself this time. Now another event will come and happen, and he has help to teach him.
Because in the previous, a few verses back, the messenger was saying, although I would like to give you good advice, my good advice is not going to help you if God doesn't will you to be guided. And in that God doesn't will you to be guided is, at the end of this verse was again, He is your sustainer and your return is to Him. So we can understand it as you are going to be guided as much as the Creator guides you, or the truth. Let's say it. Because I don't want to, it doesn't make sense to interpret it as despite your will to be guided, you cannot be guided. It doesn't make sense. That's not my experience. Because if I truly will to be guided, the Creator is, like the truth is being open to me. This is how I experience it. As if in there, one side of me is speaking to the other side, saying that although I want you to find the path, so if my other side doesn't will, then truth is not coming to me. I guess this is how I would take it.
Generally, with those types of, and then God lowered them to the lowest of the low, or these types of things, I generally take it like God is speaking from His perspective, and how can I interpret that from my perspective? Like God is saying He does not guide those He doesn't wish to guide, or something like that. And then, I guess from my perspective, the only meaning I can get from that now is even in things like me trying to be arrogant or rebel, it's not me that's rebelling. It's not me that's like showing my power. In some way, He's letting me do that, or He's allowing me to do it. He's actually creating me in such a state. Like, I can't even claim that I'm the one that's going away or like turning my back on Him or something. Because like as you said, I do see that if you seek for guidance, He does guide. So
per my choice, again, I am being created in a certain way. So if it is darkness of denial, still I close my eyes to see the light, and the pain of darkness is being inflicted on me. So the state is being given existence still. I still experience it, but I'm not the one that creates it. I just make my choice, and apparently in existence, this is the only thing that I can do, just make a choice as it. Making this choice, still the results are being given existence. Simple example being raising my hand. Other than choosing to raise my hand, I don't do anything. And likewise, anything in this existence, other than choosing, I don't do anything. So my bad side, let's say, accepting something, if I do not accept, then I do not accept the guidance, because the good side is coming up with guidance. If I do not choose to listen to the guidance, but rather compare the status, this and that, don't look at the interior of the message, then I am not being given guidance forcibly. The Creator, although my Creator is my sustainer and my return is to Him, He doesn't force me into belief. Like messenger's message is not automatically forcing me into belief, for example. So if the creator doesn't will me to be guided, and which he does if I will to be guided, as we were saying, if I am open to message, then I experience that I am being guided. If I do not make this choice, the creator is never forcing me into belief. So it's again, human's choice is never being taken away from him or her. Yeah. So now let's go to verse 37. وَاسْنَعِ الْفُلْكَ بِأَعْيُنِنَا وَوَحْيِنَا وَلَا تُخَاطِبْنِي فِي الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا إِنَّهُمْ مُغْرَقُونَ. But build under our eyes and our revelation the ark, the ship, and do not appeal to me in behalf of those who are bent on evil doing, for behold, they are destined to be drowned. So now the Creator is asking to build a ship or an ark. What is this ship? Because we know a flood is going to come, but before the flood comes, my sustainer warns me to build up a ship which is going to save me when the flood comes.
Is this like saying what good you have, or like what good you have confirmed? Just take that and build that solidly, like really make that firm. And these things that you have not confirmed or that don't make sense, leave them be. I mean, I don't really understand leaving them, because I feel you should be able to ask the Creator for anything. It says, "Do not address me concerning those who have wronged." That's a translation. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means. Like before, we were saying, "Don't be distressed by them." Now it's saying, "Don't even address me about them." Maybe like leave them be for now. Like, yes, this is the good that you have confirmed. Just be patient with those for now. Don't try to also put them on the ship. Like, it's not necessary to save everything at once.
Maybe, because as if at this point it is saying that your concern now is to build the ship, not the other one, not the rest. Because especially, let's say, and I do have such points in my life. Things are, let's say I'm having this internal conflict, but still the environment is peaceful. Environment peaceful, meaning that other than internal conflict, I'm not feeling this flood yet. And as if at such moments, my Creator tells me that get ready for a flood. Because you tried to communicate with the other side, and it didn't understand from the language. Now a more serious way of teaching is on the way, but for that, now you need to preserve the believers, make the believers ready for the flood as well. Because I was trying to go for this others, but it is saying make the believers ready. Make a ship, and in the next one it's going to say put well, 2 verses later, like put two genders from everything into this ship. And we are going to get to that. What does it mean that I'm going to put everything into this ship? But like for now, let's take it as build up this ship, and we are building the ship in the middle of, let's say, like a garden. There's no sea, no nothing. So it looks like a futile preparation. You are young, but you're building a ship as if you are going to die. Let's say, just say, and as an example, in where I was born, especially in older days before I was born, if you pray in a young age, people will come and say that, what are you doing? You're too young. Just you're going to start prayer once your age comes, for example. And this is a simple example to say that if I do my prayer as a preparation, some people might see it as, what are you doing? I mean, in this case, the thing that's going to drown you is the sea, and we are living in, let's say, 200 kilometers away from the sea. What's the point of making a ship over here? Once you get to the side of the sea, meaning that age 50, you will start praying then. You will then something like this. And it happens that, so for example, in the college environment, ages are 18 to 22. There is no responsibility yet. Still, you are spending money without earning money. Everything is happy, whatever. Somebody comes and tells you about existence, troubles, death, which are miles away from your mindset, let's say. But the truth is, the flood is just over the corner. But do I need to wait until graduating from the college to start building my ship? Or once you graduate, everything will just collapse over you. Like the water is just waiting there, all the responsibilities. And then, let's say you are single now, everything is simpler. Then after marriage, especially if you are coming from certain cultures, it is just going to quadruple. It's not doubling. There's the complexity is not only, it's not anymore only two people, it's now a matter of two families. So now the things that you need to manage is much, much more complex because the expectations, everything is changing. But this is just across the corner after the college. So if the creator, or if someone comes and tells you while you are in the sophomore year, start building your ship. Try to preserve the basics, because you're going to, what if you graduate, let's say in this example, without getting prepared, you are going to be drowned in life, in professional life, which is a very frequent case, actually. It happens a lot. We get into life without getting prepared, and we get drowned in life very easily. So yeah, in this verse when he says, وَلَا تُخَاطِبْنِي فِي الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا, so don't address me for those who wronged themselves. ظَلَمُوا. In Quran, this like evil doing, but this zulm, it is being used a lot in terms of I wronged myself. So there is an aspect of, if my aspect which says I want this car, it's going to give me happiness, and I just work day and night for seeking happiness in car. And again, just I want to open up a parenthesis for the devil's advocate. If there is anybody who wants to see names of God in car, very good for them. Go and see the names of God in a car, that's fine. It's not what I'm talking, because practically, generally, this is not the case anyways, at least in my experience. I want to drive this car because it feels damn good, man, to put it this way.
Yeah.
So if I do expect happiness from this card, this aspect of me, then I forgot the point making the joke. So this part of me is wronging itself. And the creator in this case is saying that this side is going to be drowned. Don't address me about them. But you get back to your work, you build your ship.
I think it's very beautiful imagery. Like, generally, I guess sometimes we can get so caught up in just trying to solve all the problems, everything that looks bad, or every part of you that feels like it's doing wrong. You just only focus on that, and you forget all the good things that you have confirmed. And instead of like building a ship and being able to float on these good things that you have confirmed, you're just, I guess, just wandering aimlessly and just can't actually float. So here, I mean, just within this context, like, I'm not saying always just focus on the good and forget the bad, but sometimes I guess there's value in just focusing on what you have confirmed, build that as a ship so that you have a strong foundation, and then start exploring or have something to keep you afloat.
Because the messenger tried to communicate with the chiefs. But this part is done. So he tried to communicate, but they didn't accept. Instead, they were just as if finding excuses without listening to the message. And it happens. So in such a case, the creator says, okay, after now, your duty with them is done. Now your duty is to build the ship. So the job description has changed. So don't, again, be over obsessed, as if your boss is coming and telling you, okay, no more this job, now start doing that job. But you're saying, no, I want to do this job. So as if saying, okay, the boss is saying, I get to know it's not going to work out this. You did your job here, now start working on that. And in my experience, it's happening. I'm getting caught with it so much, as if I'm taking it personal, no, as if they have to accept. This side has to be come to terms with my reasoning, my explanation, whatever. The creator says, no, it's going to understand from a different language. Now you better start building your ship. And the beginning part of the verse again. بِأَعْيُنِنَا وَوَحْيِنَا. To build the ship under our eyes and with our revelation. So how am I going to make the ship? What does this mean? What does it mean that the creator says build the ship with our sight, our eye, under our sight, and revelation?
Well, generally, when you do something under someone's sight, like they're just supervising you, they're making sure you're doing it correctly. Like you play in front of your mother at a playground or something. Like if you know that she's there to like make sure you don't do anything bad.
And let's put it into some practical context for me. Let's say I am in the college and now I realize that I need to make a ship for after college. So what sort of a ship shall I build? What does this verse tell me in terms of what sort of a ship I'm supposed to build?
Maybe this comes back to what we were talking about before, like build a ship out of not what you think is good for you, but out of what the message says is good for you, maybe. Under his eyes.
So ship is going to carry me, right? The
Yeah.
ship that I'm going to build is going to carry me after college. So,
And during college.
and during college. So when this tribulations of life, waves of life comes, I'm going to be in need of relieving myself and all my burdens onto a ship. The ship is going to carry me. The ship must be a thing which I will be able to rely on my burdens. So to what can I rely my burdens on? So for example, just for the first part of the verse, uh, if I had my wallet with me, okay, here it is. I was wait for a second. So, and let's say if there's a big amount in here, whatever, but I need to go and go to the restroom. If I leave it here to your sight, meaning that to your protection, I say, okay, it's there. I don't need to worry about it. No, I can go. In life, what is going to carry my burdens? Who is going to carry my burdens? Say, responsibility of being a father. It's a burden. Shall I take it as a burden over my shoulders? Or what am I going to do with this? To whom can I give this responsibility to? So, as if this verse is saying that build the ship from, I am changing it from our sight and from revelation. The ship is going to be the fact that we are constantly following you, angels who are under our protective eyes, as you were saying. I am in a playground, because the example that you give is child in the playground plays happily. But at a moment, if he cannot find the mother, starts crying. Child was in security playing because child was knowing that mother is watching over her. It was giving child peace. Because protected, I'm protected. I don't need to worry about anything. I can enjoy my game, play. So I should get this eyesight, become aware of this sight that is constantly following or watching me, protecting me. Are you worried about your child? Do you think that you are taking care of the child? I am more, as a child in the playground, mother is more concerned about the child than the child itself. So the Creator is telling me that I am more concerned about you than you yourself are. Become aware of that. So build your ship from the very fact that you are being watched over, not for the sake of spying. Because constantly I am being watched over. If I just take it in terms of my material body, I'm not watching or taking care of anything in this material body, but it's being perfectly maintained. I am being watched over, taken care of. Apply this to your life as well, like spiritual life, emotional life, psychological life, whatever. So the ship is the awareness that I am being watched over. I don't need to take the burdens onto my shoulder. This is the first part. Second part is build your ship from revelation. How am I going to get this perspective? My speech, like now we are studying Quran, speech is going to tell you about your maker. Because I need to build up an understanding which is going to save me. And I cannot blindly say that, okay, he takes care of me. He's going to take care of my daughter. I need to build it up from, because we are building up, if you like, a worldview. Because this ship is my worldview. I need to have a worldview and also a way of living which is going to make me survive after I graduate college. What is that worldview and lifestyle? Build it up from revelation.
It's really beautiful.
الفلك بأعيننا ووحينا ولا تخاطبني في الذين ظلموا إنهم مغرقون. And the second part of it is, now it's not your duty anymore to save the wrongdoers, the ones that wrong themselves. Just focus on this part now. Zainab, what are you worried about? She is happy, no worries. She's not happy? She's getting bored? Are you getting bored? Okay. So if you give us 15 minutes, Zainab, only 15 more minutes. Okay, so now verse 38. وَيَصْنَعُ الْفُلْكَ وَكُلَّمَا مَرَّ عَلَيْهِ مَلَأٌ مِّنْ قَوْمِهِ سَخِرُوا مِنْهُ قَالَ إِنْ تَسْخَرُوا مِنَّا فَإِنَّا نَسْخَرُ مِنْكُمْ كَمَا تَسْخَرُونَ. And so Noah started building the ship. وَكُلَّمَا مَرَّ عَلَيْهِ مَلَأٌ مِّنْ قَوْمِهِ. And whenever the chiefs of the community was passing by him, they were mocking him. وَسَخِرُوا مِنْهُ. So then the Creator says, say, or no, he said, قَالَ إِن تَسْخَرُوا مِنَّا فَإِنَّا نَسْخَرُ مِنْكُمْ كَمَا تَسْخَرُونَ. This is an interesting sentence, using the same word 3 times. The way you are mocking me, so, no. If you are mocking me, the way you are mocking me, I'm going to mock you at some point. The way you are ridiculing me, if you are ridiculing me, the way you ridicule me, I'm going to ridicule you at some point. As if the verse itself is also ridiculing them by using this as like wordplay. But and this is just the beauty of the sentence. Like linguistically, it is beautifully playing with the word itself to reflect it back. But in practice, how does this happen? This ridicule part. When you start building your ship, are you being ridiculed? Who ridicules you? And how do you feel when you are ridiculed? Let's say you are attending discussions. I know some of your family, but not some other part of your family. I'm just going to make up a case. Might be wrong, might be right. So don't take it as it's real. Let's say you are attending discussions, or it happens that in holiday time you say that, okay, I need to read this book, whatever. And then you have a friend or family member which comes and tells you that these sort of things, oh man, let's go and enjoy. Look, there's this, what's it called? Like those parks, amusement park. Let's go there. Why are you wasting your time with these sort of things? You're young. You will have enough time eventually. Or these sort of things, like, come on, like the one that read the book has died, the one that didn't read the book has died. So what's the point? Likewise, internally, this also happens. I mean,
internally, it's probably more true than externally.
Yeah. Because externally, how it happens is there are some such people, like, which are famous for doing that, which ridicule religion, let's say, or religiosity, whatever, in terms of saying that, look how I'm happy, look how miserable this guy, whatever. I mean, all sorts of mocking, and how I am feeling about this. Because once I had a friend, and a brown friend. So he was saying that whenever I hear a person with a white skin, with speaking with British accent, and especially having a title like professor, just anything that the person says shakes my belief, he was saying. And especially some such people are using a mocking language. And it might happen that it's really shaking my belief. I'm feeling so upset because it looks like those people have all the title, like they're really the chiefs of this society, if you take it this way. Now, let's take it not in the personal level, but in the society level. In this secular Western society, there are some chiefs which are mocking with belief in God or the idea of belief in God or anyone that believes in God. And you can see in YouTube at least mocking part of it. Like, if I buy this car, I'm going to be happy. What are you talking about? What sort of happiness are you going to give me? This car, look at the guy that's playing in the ad, how happy he appears by driving the car. Or if I buy this car and then I go tomorrow to workplace and put my key over the table, and when they see the logo over there, I'm going to feel awesome. I can even feel it from now. What are you talking about? I mean, this sort of mocking is there. And
So yes, there's so much mocking going like happening. And the way I understand mocking is like if you, instead of actually like addressing the argument and making like real argument and being sincere and trying to actually like come to a real conclusion, you're just mocking. So I'm trying to understand why, as like a believer or the prophet would say, I would now mock you guys as you mock me, because mocking is not a there's no benefit in mocking. Even if you are correct, there's no benefit in mocking. In the Quran, I know in different places, even God says He will mock them as they mock you. So how is the mocking of the prophet different than their mocking?
so can it be? So, what is something to be laughed at? So, as a think of it about as having a believer mindset. What is it that you will laugh at? Nonsensical, stupid things are the things that I will laugh at. And in this like picture, as if they are laughing at Noah because he is building an ark in a garden. Like, this is something stupid. Doesn't make any sense. What's the point? I mean, just, did you go nuts?
Is it a real garden though? Because there are so many people, the chiefs that are all like disputing him. So it's not a real garden. There is still some problems that he does witness there. Like
But there is no water to, let's say, at this point, float the sea. This is what I mean. I mean, in the imagery, there is no water to float the ship yet.
oh,
So you are in the college life. Still, you have money. You don't need to earn money. I mean, there is no real problem that hit you yet, and still you're trying to understand what life means, what existence means, whatever. I mean, just forget about this, man. Today is Super Bowl. Let's just watch it. I mean, this is what mocking looks like. So what you're doing looks just pointless, meaningless. Watching Super Bowl is something to be done or important, whereas doing this is nonsensical. But what you are saying in response, if you are sure about what you are doing, because you can feel bad, but the prophet's position in here is he's so firm, he is so sure about what he is doing actually. Says, what you are doing is something to be laughed at. What are you doing by just wasting 3-4 hours of your life by just doing this? And after it, you're all going to forget about it. So why shall I waste my valuable time with this? This is something to be laughed at. Not what I am doing is to be laughed at. I guess in this sense, there's this laughing, not to be like in a mean way, trying to make fun of them, or not. This is not how I am understanding it, because it doesn't fit with prophetic mission. Because you would truly feel bad about them. Why are you guys wasting your time with such trivialities? Although flood is just around the corner, why would you do that? But he is saying what you are doing is to be laughed at, not what I am doing.
here it says interestingly too. He says, if you ridicule us or if you mock us, then we will mock you. Like while he, It was the singular, like he was the one that was building the ship, and then he turns to us.
Mhm.
Like, what was do you think there's some significance? I mean, I'm sure there is some significance. What would you say is the significance behind it?
Mm.
Do we?
So can it be that now the messenger is conscious about a whole, not a single? Because he's building a ship and he's going to preserve some totality. He is not taking it
Like a
as,
collection of things.
yeah. And when it comes to, I'm trying to build up a stronghold or like a ship to protect my good aspects, let's call it this way, or the aspects of me which submitted or which attained belief, conviction. And I am aware of this collective personality now, and I am trying to protect this. So I am living with this consciousness. I'm not living only with a singular. So I'm aware that this attack is to this whole personality, and this is why I'm trying to protect it. I'm not by myself. This is what the previous verse was saying. Stop what you are doing and now build the ship. You need to protect all these. So am I aware of that? Let's say when I am in the college life, am I aware that I am going to need multiple aspects that are given to me to survive the flood that is to come? Maybe this requires a level of consciousness in me to say that I am given several faculties, aspects in myself, and I need to build up a ship to protect them. Again, I'm not saying I need to protect them. I need to build up a ship that is going to protect them. And to be able to do that, I need to be aware of the problem that is right around the corner. Yes. So let's read this last verse and finish it there. فسوف تعلمون. Now this is verse number 39. فسوف تعلمون من يأتيه عذاب يخزيه ويحل عليه عذاب مقيم. But in time, but soon, you will come to know who it is that shall be visited by suffering, which will cover him with ignominy. Ignominy, what does this word mean?
For me, it's upon whom will descend an enduring punishment.
Okay.
Oh, you see is disgrace.
Disgrace, okay. Suffering which will cover him with disgrace, and upon whom long-lasting suffering shall alight. So this looks like a consciousness before I graduate. I am aware of what's going to come after graduation. The troubles. I am sort of realistic about life. I'm not just living the moment. Okay, now I might be getting money from my father or whatever. I get the loan. So at least for the moment, I don't need to worry about how am I going to pay this back, whatever. And just enjoy the moment. This might be my mindset or the mindset of the chiefs. But if I am a conscious person, I will be aware that there is going to come a suffering which is going to what word did you say?
Disgrace? Or
Yeah, put me in disgrace. Is going to a suffering that will lower me. This is one part of it, because I guess the easiest way to take it is the suffering is going to make me lose all my self-respect. During the college, I thought that I was a successful person. I was an important person. Like giving practical example, I get into real life, the troubles start to kick in, real problems, unlike uh, programming assignments. Now, a real assignment in life comes, and I totally mess it up. All my self-respect, all people's respect, to me, everything just soars down. And then also, it's not something that comes and goes. It stays with me. Although the successes of college life was coming and going. Okay, I got I got a B plus, whatever, and all my grades are long forgotten. Maybe they look at it when they are hiring you, maybe even they don't. Most likely they look at it only if you're applied to grad school. They don't care about it in uh, industry jobs. Did they ask for your
they did like in like the last signing when I was just signing stuff, but before I didn't tell them.
also for the interview part? They didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
They will only ask it for graduate school. And even if you arrange the professor personally, even then it doesn't matter. Because in my case, it was not that much good of a transcript, anyways. It's just been forgotten. Successes, failures, whatever. In the college life, successes are being forgotten, failures stick with you. But when it comes to real life, once I mess things up, and I am truly meaning what I'm saying right now, it sticks with you. Because I messed things up in my life, and still, a few days ago, I was still seeing it in my dream, for example. One of the things that I messed up, and I thought that I am done with it. I was thinking that, okay, I mean, this one, I figured it out, and it was just something that stayed in the past. 2, 3 days ago, I saw some guy in my dream and said that, oh, maybe it's this is not over. Like this nightmare is not over.
2, 3 days ago, I saw a dream. I went back to school. That was a nightmare.
So, so it's a ardabu mukim. Mukim means settling. So it's like you are settling in a city, in a town, for example. It says it's going to be a suffering, but it's going to stay with you. It's going to stick to you. So the messenger is conscious about this, to saying that living the moment, trying to save the day is not the point. I need to build this ship because in my life, troubles that I'm trying to overcome with, how do I exist? What does this existence mean? If I don't solve these problems and don't get ready for this before the flood comes, when the flood comes, I'm going to be just unprepared. Because before you are challenged with those questions, if you prepare somewhat of an answer to those questions, you're going to be good. But it happens that something bad hurts and hurts very badly in life, and you don't have any answer whatsoever. So, in such a moment, it's truly uh, a bad suffering, and it sticks with you, it doesn't go away. Because at that moment, I was ignoring to see my neediness, but I feel my neediness to my bones. I don't know if there is such a saying in English. In Turkish, it would be I feel it to my bone marrows.
Yeah.
There is such a
In bones.
bones. Okay. So And it happens, like generally how it happens, you're applying somewhere and the acceptance is just in the middle of somebody's lips, as if. Or even it happens sometimes that you cannot do anything to change it. It is in the middle of a crazy man's lips, which is so much away from where you are. There's no way you can influence such a crazy guy. That's so powerful, crazy guy somewhere sitting in a big throne. And out of his goodwill, he says, okay, I'm not going to give you what you want. I'm going to give you what you, and this sort of a thing. You truly feel your nothingness, although you might be uh, boasting, saying that, okay, I am smart, I am strong, whatever. Your life apparently might be in between the lips of a stupid man. Then you truly feel your neediness. And this is what hurts. Realizing your neediness is what hurts, not what you want is not being given you. This is not really what is hurting. Truly, what hurts is I used to think that I was a strong guy, or my intellect is so useful, this and that. And now you see the dumbest man can become a hindrance for you. The thing that you consider as valuable bears its value. If it was valuable, it would save you. Now it sticks with you. Then you question all your life, all your achievements, what was them for? Whatever. So it sticks. Arzabu mukim, a settling suffering. And the translations say lasting suffering, but I like the word in there, settling suffering. It just settles with you, doesn't go away. Okay, any comments before we close? We are over time for 7 minutes, 25 seconds.
Today I confirmed some verses.
Alhamdulillah. Good, so the speaker is.
I will add them to my ship that I should start building.
سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة.